Yay! What's up, people?
Alright.
I'm waiting for people to join the
Oh,
stream
what
at the
was
very
that?
least. It feels so weird to do one of these.
Alright.
First one I did was with Josh, I believe.
Last time I did one of these was in my chapter 4, season 4, I think.
Yeah, that's
It's been
right.
ages.
That was like a year ago.
Nearly 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
Alright, so it's very clear in the title that we're going to be talking about Frostbyte and others.
Well, Radiator, the future of Radiator, Frostbyte, and Thunderfall, which is going to be a brand new release on my channel. Yo, what's up, Josh? Welcome to the stream.
What's good, Josh?
Glad you're here.
So, I was. So recently, right, with Frostbite, I haven't been working on it as much as I usually would. Like, as I would, like, in the last couple of years. Because truthfully, I just haven't found passion for it anymore. Because, people like Crack and Kirby put me off battle round map making because they go and they take longer look at it and declare that it's the worst map they've ever seen without actually playing it. Because for me, the map could look like Josh World Chapter 1. Oh no, that's a bad example. Josh World Chapter. As long as it's fun, I'm playing. As long as it's fun, I'm playing it. It's just as simple as it is. It's just how I do it. And as well with Frostbite, I actually haven't found anything to do with it, like in terms of storyline. I think the only thing I really had from chapter 1 was literally just the underworld, which is what I was setting up for season 2 for the Japanese season. But I'm going to announce the Japanese season is cancelled for now. That will be coming at a later time because next season has already started to be set up for this update. But I'll be right back because I need to go grab my food. So you can talk about Thunderfall or whatever you want to talk about. I'll be right back in like 5 minutes at max.
I'm actually gonna turn off the camera for a bit. I need to put on a hoodie. It's freezing in my room. It's seriously freezing in here. Okay. So while he's gone for a bit, I can talk about how my battle royale and the future of Radiator and the future and the upcoming stuff of Thunderfall, which is a brand new battle royale that is currently in the works for me. So for Radiator, of course, I shut down service on March and I brought it back in April with the season 2 remake. Of course, with the future of Radiator, it's not gonna with this remake, it's not gonna have a whole storyline. I'm really just gonna do this for the sake of making sure Radiator felt like it was a special battle royale, even though it was really not. It was a little bit of a failure, but I still thought it was a good project. A good project. I thought it was a special one. I loved it. I loved making it. Although I will say a couple things with my story. The story was going pretty good for the sake of season 1 through 4, and then I completely flat out rushed. I feel like I rushed the storyline. I didn't make it feel concluded, is what I'm saying. Like as you guys saw at the end of Rift's End, which was the chapter 1 finale. I felt like after the end of the event, I felt like the story wasn't very conclusive. The story was pretty good. It was very good going through season 1 through 4. Season 5, 6, 7. It wasn't like it wasn't very consistent with it wasn't very consistent with the story. With the whole master stuff. I mean, I thought that was I thought that was a pretty consistent story, but if anything, I pretty much just rushed the whole story from seasons 5 through 7, and I didn't really. I mean, with the Ice Queen, she was just. I felt like she was just kind of a their villain to fill up the sake of the story. Um, yeah, I feel like that's pretty much just the whole. I mean, I felt like the story was being concluded with season 7, but yeah, I did, but I didn't realize how I ended it so um unconclusive. Like I didn't realize how um unconcluded it was at the ending of Rift's End. Like it was kind of a oh yeah, hold on. Pardon my yawning. Um it didn't feel like a really conclusive story after the end. And there's another reason why I'm doing this remake is so I can fill in the sake of Thunderfall coming out, and hopefully to have a good time with Radiator again with one of the best seasons. So not one of the best seasons, but the best season of the battle royale. Like it had very good updates. It had very good Radiator nightmares with Shadow Midas. Had a good mini live event, all that stuff. Didn't have a great ending because I didn't have a live event, so I should have just continued onward with a live event and stuff like that. Am I yawning again? So with that, I feel like Thunderfall is going to be like a fresh start from what Radiator originally was, and gonna have a lot more impactful and understandable story. Um, Hopefully, you guys are able to understand it, so I can able to. Pardon my yawning again. Oh yeah. Pardon my yawning. I just woke up 10 minutes ago. I mean, I woke up at 9, but I fell asleep again. So, excuse me for my yawning again. But yeah, Radiator is just well, Thunderfall is just going to be a good impactful story and see what I can do and see what I can cook up with it, and maybe I won't end it. Well, it really depends. I will.
I
Welcome back. I was just I was just talking about the future of Radiator, saying that
Radiator.
the future of Radiator. I'll explain it again since you just got back. So,
Alright.
with the future of Radiator, of course, I have a remake going on that doesn't last until October. But will I stop? Will I completely end off the remake and make sure and have it not playable again? No, I'm still gonna have it playable. But after the live event, um, there will be no more consistent updates with that remake. It'll still be up, that's for sure. Still be up. I mean, it's the best season of Radiator. Season 2 is great. Um, it just won't have any more consistent updates. Um,
Yeah.
so I also like to talk about the storyline of Radiator. Um, it was pretty solid, but I felt like after the end of Rift's End, which was the finale event, I felt like after the end, I felt like I completely rushed and felt like it was not conclusive as well as I thought it was. I mean, personally, what are your thoughts on the storyline? Like, how did you feel? Was it not conclusive enough?
I mean, for me, sorry, the Radiator storyline when it ended. it's 50-50 because I understood it, but I also didn't at the same time. But I
So
feel like because because you planned for chapter 2, right?
yeah,
You
but
left season 7 on a plot point or an empty space. If that makes sense. So all it feels like now is that a season from a TV show that got discontinued after like one season, which is basically what it is. I hope that's the best way I can explain it. So it's not that it wasn't bad, like the storyline was bad. It was pretty good. It was a good finale of that, or lore. But it was left on such a cliffhanger that it kind of hurt Radiator. That's just my
yeah,
opinion. But like, yeah,
I mean, think of it like I'm ending it, right? Think of it as like Murder Drones. Like it's not gonna have a new season, and it literally had a cliffhanger at the end.
yeah,
So yeah, with the future, so we can talk about the future of Thunderfall and the upcoming releases of the game. Um,
yeah,
I'm gonna make sure it has like a better story. It's a brand new battle royale, so I'm gonna make sure I do my best to have like a good story. Make sure it's
yeah,
consistent. Sure, it's concluded enough. Unless if I want to do, well, unless if it's not, unless I feel like it's not concluded enough, I can go ahead and do a brand new chapter. I wasn't going to
yeah,
do a new chapter because I wanted to feel like a completely special new story and conclude it well enough. But
yeah.
as I was thinking about that, I'm asking myself, what are your thoughts on that? So I want to know, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you feel like me concluding a story with one chapter and through 10 seasons, and just felt like the story would be completed?
All right, look, I say past chapter 1 till chapter 3 for that storyline nerd. I think unless you do it great enough, like let's say for example your Avengers level right, you can never finish the story for a battle royale because you receive with Fortnite ever since chapter 4.
Yeah, it's been yeah, absolutely nothing. So it's if I could do chapters 1 through 3, but I gotta make sure the story is well consistent enough and make sure it has a good amount of right lore. I mean, you're doing that exact same thing with yours. Make sure it has good enough lore and it's well consistent with the story. So, if anything, I feel like Radiator had no. So one of the characters in Radiator, I feel like I gave too much plot armor to Rageful Assassin. What did you think? Like, did I give him? Hold on, give me a second. What happened, dude? What happened?
I
Oh, there you are.
absolutely
What happened?
uh that's what happened. I disconnected.
Did you accidentally leave or something?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
All right. So the question I
Come
was
on.
um,
Um,
the question I was about is in
alright,
Radiator. I
what I was
feel
saying.
like I feel like I gave too much plot armor to Rageful Assassin. What did you think about Rageful Assassin as a character, and did I give him too much plot armor?
He was overused. That's all I can
Overused.
say. He was too overused. Right?
So
Now look. We obviously know that with Fortnite, you've got Agent Jones. He's overused. That's obvious. The Epic of Fortnite, they managed to write him in so well that he's not overused to the point where it gets boring. With Rachel Assassin, it was just him. There were only new villains, and he was the only good guy. There was no new at the beginning. You had Jones, Chapter 2 Season 6. Then it came in the Foundation. Then eventually came in the whole entire 7. And then now you've got Diego, Midas, all that kind of shit. So
yeah, all the new villains, new protagonists and stuff. For me, it was just him. I didn't add new heroes or anything. Although I did add a new character that was a protagonist in season 7. It was Zero, at least.
yeah.
But with Zero, I didn't really get any much character development with him. Same with Rachel. I didn't add any new character development or anything with him, which I didn't think about too much.
Look with me, right? Technically, in the beginning of Silver Island storyline, it was because in the beginning when it first started, there wasn't really a proper storyline. There was lore, but there wasn't a storyline. If that makes sense. The storyline wasn't there. It was there, but you had to look really deep. You had to put on your goggles and look to try and find that lore.
Yeah, exactly.
So when Chapter 2 came around, that's when the lore started. And the characters I started off with were Spider-Man, Midas, and Jones. Eventually came across the 7 got introduced in season 3, but they weren't down the island. They were just mentioned. Technically wasn't introduced. Season 4 came around, you had basically the Marvel characters, which was kind of stupid, but anyway. And then came around Chapter 3, originally. That then rebooted and then introduced Hope, but still had Jones. So that was the thing. It still had Jones.
They're overusing him, but they're trying to stay consistent with the story.
That's what I did with my Jones. When Chapter 3 got when Silver Island got rebooted in the Chapter 3 period, Jones was still there. But except there was loads of new story characters. Obviously, that version of Chapter 3, that version of Silver Island only lasted about 2 months, really. So there was never really proper build-up. Then when Silver Island Reboot came around, it was still Jones. And then it became the Foundation. Then it was Midas. Then Silver Island ended with, then obviously Chapter 2 Remix came around, you had you, Revenge, Josh, and Nexus. Josh and Nexus survived. And they, for the time being, they became lore characters. Then Silver Island ended with Jones, the 7, and you guys. And that's how it ended. Now with Frostbyte, we started off with the Explorer. Jones came back from Silver Island, he's the same one. Then build it up, and now eventually, the lore today, you got Midas, the 7, and Jones, which are the good guys. They're the good guys. Now I didn't talk about all the villains because there's been countless of villains. I can't even remember most of them. So yeah, that's what I think. I think with Radiator Assassin, you used him too much in the worst possible way because you didn't add any new characters.
Yeah. I feel like what I should have done is that I can still use him, but maybe give him a break.
Yeah.
Maybe don't use him in another season.
Yeah.
And then a season after, I could use him again, but I gotta use him wise and well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how I would do it. And how I have done that. So I want to ask you questions about Frostbyte.
Alright, yep, let's do that.
So with the launch of Chapter 2, Season 1, big new map, very gorgeous. What's your thoughts on the map in general? What's your favorite POI and what's your least favorite POI from the games that you played? And yeah, that's pretty much it. And what do you think? Actually, before you answer, what do you think of the way Chapter 2 was handled on launch and how it's being handled right now with the lore and map changes and everything like that?
With being handled from the start, I thought it was pretty well consistent and pretty good. I like the map. I like the new POIs. I don't even
Yeah.
hate any of them. That's for sure. I think they're all pretty good. The
Yeah.
map, the map wise, I'd say it's pretty well done. I do like the
Yeah.
design put with it. Um, but with how it is now with the story, I think it's pretty good. But what the problem with it is, I feel like it's about to be not well consistent as long as it's done well with the seven and all that stuff. Like, for a question for you, like, what were you originally gonna plan for the seven? Like, what are you gonna do with them for next season at least?
Um, that's a great question. So, but in the beginning, Frostbite, I wasn't actually gonna have the 7 because I felt like they weren't needed until eventually in season 3, the best season of Frostbite so far. I was like, I think I need to introduce the 7, and I felt like that because the 7 they're basically characters that I can start off with. So what I'm trying to say is the 7 they're going to be used as the main heroes. They're like the Avengers of Frostbite, right?
Yeah.
Especially in chapter 2. I don't want to spoil anything, but eventually down the line they're going to slowly start like going away and they're going to not be used. But I'm using the 7 now as I want to give them a proper arc, something that Fortnite didn't really do, and something that I didn't do for Silver Island for them because they were in Silver Island too. Give them a proper arc, and also use them to build on new original characters. You know, for season 2, I got this new character, um, which is called I forgot his name. I think it was the Legend. No, I think it might have been the Legend. No, it's not Jones. It's like just someone called the Legend. He's
Mm.
basically
Is he a snapshot version of him or?
no. He's so obviously the update's out, so I can talk about it. UFOs came crashing down. They're the remains of what Shadow Midas did in the chapter 1 finale.
Oh,
The
okay.
Legend is going to be the new leader of the last reality because the Q Queen died. So Fortnite's storyline is basically canon with Frostbite in the sense of Q Queen Herald dead. Shadow Midas now controls the last reality as the leader, but considering he died, or did he? But considering he's not here, the Legend is now going to take over um, the last reality. So I'm kind of using the 7 and all the Fortnite characters to build off into spring out Frostbite into new lore, probably by chapter 3 and chapter 4.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what I want to do with the 7. Give them a proper arc, individually give them, like, each member something to, you know,
Like each member their own arc, own story. Like what?
yeah, something
Okay.
like that. But, like, yeah, so that's just kind of how the 7 are going to be handled. They are going to be main. They're going to be very special. They're going to be proper lore characters.
That's great. I like that.
But I got another question for you for Frostbite,
What's up?
and that is for chapter 2. I'm looking at the map right now, actually. Um, no, for chapter 1. Let's go back to chapter 1.
All
What
right.
do you think of chapter 1, like as a whole?
I thought it was pretty good. The story was pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Um,
What?
the map was pretty good. The characters that you added for chapter one, I thought they were pretty good as well. Joan's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
um, but I feel like we could have had more seasons though, like more seasons, and we would have been continuing on with the lore. Um,
Yeah.
like wait, how many seasons did we had? 5 of them, right?
4. You
Four.
have 4 seasons.
4. Um, if we
Actually,
had
technically, you had 3 because season 4 was a mini season. It was a
okay,
mini season.
but many seasons still technically count, but you know.
Yeah. So it's basically 4 seasons. Chapter 1.
Okay, so I feel like with chapter one, it should have continued on with its story and had more seasons overall. Like I think we should have had at least 6, 7, or 8 seasons.
The thing is, I felt like with chapter 1, it was finished by season 4 because you had season 1, which was new battle royale. Let's go! Whee! Season 2 came around. You're like, you got a starter villain, right? Just your average everyday villain. He's not the big bad, but he's a bit bad. He's troublesome. Which is season 2, with Radiator stuff. If you remember, you gave me some of the characters. So like Rage Assassin, I used him as a little villain to set up them.
Give you
And
permission.
then obviously there wasn't an event for it, but canon in the lore, the cube exploded, set in Shadow Midas 3, but Shadow Midas went into hiding for an entire season to build up energy for season 4. So obviously, in season 3, he technically was already introduced as the big bad, and I thought you got your first big bad. He's going to do a lot of damage to the map. He's going to do a lot of damage to the story and canon. He's going to do a lot of damage to everything. Why don't you just end it here? Because I had nothing else to go on.
True. Yeah.
So I feel like with chapter 1, it was finished. It's not like it wasn't finished. It just was finished.
Okay.
Now, my second question, or my third, whatever you want to call it, what did you think of the chapter 1 finale?
I thought it was really good. Like the ending for chapter 1 as a whole, it was pretty good. The humor, I thought it was top on. I thought it was great humor with Jones.
Yeah,
Jones was hilarious. The
I
voice
know how to write
lines,
my Jones.
Hmm?
I know how to write my Agent Jones.
Yeah, the voice lines, the characters, they were amazing. The event overall was incredible. I loved it. I don't know. No. I don't have any problems with the event at all. It was so good.
The main issue that people had with the event was that it used the Fortnite chapter 2 finale, and the people I'm talking about is Clack and Kermit, or mainly Kermit.
Honestly, I don't really mind. I mean, I just felt. I don't mind as long as it was, well done and stuff.
Now, with the event, I didn't have enough time to finish it. Because prior to the event, I already had a little bit of beef with Kermit. Because I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with Frostbyte. It was just like at the end of season 3, moving into season 4, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with Frostbyte, so I might just stop it for a while. Got kicked out of Shatter. Curbing and Clack didn't like Frostbyte anymore. So with all that happening in season 4, when it dropped, remember season 4 was technically a medieval season. So when season 4 dropped and that was all happening, I didn't have time to work on the event until like a week before the chapter ended.
I definitely see that. I definitely do see that.
And also, I'm pretty positive that no one is gonna want to do like a live event finale. Like maybe beside you and Josh, no one else is gonna want to help me with a live event finale.
I mean, you could have asked for my help. I would have stopped what I was doing, and I would have been there.
I'm talking about like skin wise because
Oh, skin wise.
yeah. Sorry. So yeah, like because you had in the like towards the end you had Jones Foundation and Scientist. I could have been Jones. Josh could have been the Foundation. Who's going to be the Scientist? Because I'm pretty sure you don't have it.
I don't have the scientist, unfortunately.
And also the Visitor popped up as well before that. So like, I don't think you have the Visitor either. So like,
No.
so that's why I used the chapter 2 finale. But I think I'd done it because I think I used it before for Silver Island. I'm gonna be honest. The way I used it for Silver Island was copy and pasted. But I think with this event, it was used very well to tie in with the original Frostbite storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can tell. For me personally, everything fits because you had this section with Foundation and Jones going to fight him, and at the end, then Jones says, "All right, let's wait for the scientist." Next minute, scientist comes in the base, flips the whole island, done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah. That's yeah.
Do you have any questions about what I'm gonna plan to do for Thunderfall?
Yeah, actually, what are you gonna do for Thunderfall?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I stay consistent with the storyline, make sure it has some good lore so we can understand it well, make sure I have good characters, make sure they aren't overused and stuff like that, and make sure I have a actually, you know what? Hold on. So as I showed you before,
Yeah.
I can just show it anyway because it's a concept. This is the map concept for Thunderfall. It's
Yeah,
basically mixed between chapter 4 and chapter 2's island a little bit, but probably my way. um,
definitely tell.
yeah, it's a mix between those two, and we're gonna see if we can able to do that and get it done, and see if I have what it takes for my first ever custom island. I mean, it's my first time doing it, so I gotta get used to it.
Yeah. Um. hmm. Oh, right. My question is this for Radiator.
All right.
Do you think? Do you think that there will ever be a point where you sit back and you're like, I Radiator's not finished. Like this is not how I want it to end. This is not how I want it. Like that's not how I want it to end. That's not the way I planned it to end. I want to continue it. I watch a TV show. I don't know if you know it. Called it's called Doctor Who. Basically, what they do is they do specials. They do like a 3 episode special of just a little tiny storyline going through like 3 episodes of like 60 minutes. You could do like 3 seasons of just finishing up the lore for Radiator. Is that something that you're gonna do, or is that something you thought of, or you're not gonna do it at all?
Um, I could definitely do that if I wanted to. I'll think about it and I'll see what I can do and finish up Radiator's lore and see if I have what it takes to finish it up.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Any more questions for Frostbite? Anything at all?
Um, what other characters plan to get at least a little bit of character development and change, or will any characters go rogue, change their side of any team at all?
Um, I'm definitely working on plot points or like separate plot for Jones, Jones and Paradigm, and Midas and Jules, and then the last one that I have in mind that I haven't started working on yet, but I have a couple ideas for, is the Scientist and the Visitor. They're kind of
Ooh.
characters that I want to introduce plot points to, because the Foundation had his storyline in Silver Island. Because remember, these characters are from the Silver Island universe. Except, no, I take that back. The Foundation and Jones and Midas are from the Silver Island universe. The rest of them, like the Explorer, Shadow Midas, and the rest of the Seven, and all the new characters that we'll see in Chapter 2, they're from this universe. But those three are from Silver Island. So I feel like with Foundation and Midas, I've already done their storylines. I don't need to do them. But for the rest of them, I can need to build up Jones a lot more. Even though he was pretty well built up on in Silver Island, I'm gonna build up on his storyline a lot more. So
Yeah,
I feel like yes, there's gonna be a lot of side characters that will get their own individual side quests in the later seasons.
yeah, like their own, like side characters, like their own story, and you get to learn the lore about them, and
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, that's yeah, they're the side characters that are gonna get you know their own individual lore.
I see.
Um, I'm what I will say. It hasn't been announced yet. No, it has actually. There is a story character that will return from the Silver Island universe.
Ooh, okay.
Tony Stark is making a return into the storyline, and he's from the Silver. He's from obviously from Marvel, the
Yeah.
MCU, not the MCU, but from a Marvel universe. But he basically at this point would have been in Silver Island and Frostbite. Now he's not gonna come back as Marvel sees a new Frostbite. No, it's not gonna happen. He's coming back as a story character. It's only gonna be him. He's the only character from the MCU or the Marvel universe that I'm gonna bring in,
Okay.
because I feel like with what I've got for next season, he's gonna be a key part of the storyline for the next 2 seasons.
Hmm.
All I'm going to say, how season 2 and season 3, take them as Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Just take the next 2 seasons as kind
Yeah.
of,
Okay.
just kind of take it as them, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. So I have a question regarding Silver Island. So, what were you originally going to plan to do with it? After you ended it, like, were you going to were you going to maybe still finish it off, or were you just originally planning going to end it?
Um, that's a hard question, actually. I'm not too sure. I feel like Silver Island's ending was very rushed. Definitely.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as rushed as people think it is. The decision to end Silver Island was right before Chapter 2 Remix. It was right before I asked you if you wanted Chapter 2 Remix. That was when I decided to end it off. So I had about like 4 weeks of like planning to end off Chapter 2 Remix
Yeah.
when it begun in like December or something like that. So I had plans to end it, but it was never long term, you know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
when it did end, I think Frostbyte is just that continuation of the storyline. As I've told you, you know, with all the lore characters, they are from Silver Island and they're getting the storyline continued, you know. So I feel like that's kind of
Yeah,
it.
that's a great choice. Yeah.
I feel like I never want to continue on with a project that would get ended unless it's important. Like I say, Josh World. Josh World technically is finished now. We have nothing that's been going on for 2 years. Me and Josh feel like we've done everything we can. And sure, it might be set up as a playable game mode, but it's not getting any updates. The lore isn't continuing because the lore's technically finished. It finished in September 2024. Like
Yeah.
canon finished then
I mean,
in
as
September.
Silver Island as a playable game mode, that's a good choice. Like, you still want to have it, but maybe don't continue on with the lore, basically.
I think if I wanted one, it's gonna have to be special. I think the only time I'd ever do that is for the reboot map. Even then, Frostbite Chapter 2 is heavily inspired on the original Silver Island reboot map. So the one from like August, November time, like those 3-4 months, like that map, if you've seen it, is what Frostbite Chapter 2 is based on. So I feel like I have no reason to make Silver Island a separate playable mode. I feel like if I ever am gonna do that, it will probably just be a mode for like Frostbite's greatest hits or something like that. For example, like
Yeah,
season 3.
exactly. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Like Chapter 2 Season 1 so far and Frostbite Season 3 are my most well received seasons. The rest have been poorly received.
Um, Speaking of poorly received seasons, what did you think of Radiator season 6 Icy Lands as soon as it started?
I thought the season was pointless. I thought it was genuinely pointless. Because if you guys didn't know, like basically a year prior, like when did that end?
That
What
ended in
in
December. It started in August. That was
like
about
back in like December 2023, as far as I can remember. I knew what was gonna happen for Radiator's finale anyway. Icy Lands wasn't on the list. There was gonna be like a Cube Queen, Herald, Chrome season. So when Icy Lands came about, I was like, it just seemed pointless.
well,
It was
I didn't plan it anymore because after Epic did an update with the guard spawner, the Herald, the Cube Queen, all of that was removed from my guard spawners. So I decided to scratch that and do the Ice Queen instead, so I could add, something with it.
like Look, you came from what season 5? That was what the end of the Kinetic Shadow Cube season.
Yeah, that was the whole end of the
You
Kinetic Shadow Cube.
if you could have fit in like a vibe and just chill out season where you make it fun. I know you don't like the vibe in season personally. Like I know
I
you
don't
don't
like
like
it personally, but I could also do a chill season if I wanted to.
like have it a chilled season because I feel like Icy Lands is so out of place. It feels like a Christmas season because it is. It is snow everywhere. Christmas that's like saying a summer event in fucking December. You know, like that is pointless.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not
But
just saying that because Ice Lounge was bad. I did enjoy it, but the fact that it lasted too long and it felt out of place made it the worst Radiator season out of them all.
yeah, but I didn't know what else to do, so I had to come up with something, and that's the best thing I could possibly come up with.
And I'm just saying a vibing season would have been nice, but like, don't worry though. Don't worry though. You came back clutch with season 7. Don't worry.
Yeah, season 7 was great. Season 7 was great.
But as I said, like I knew what was going to happen to Radiator in December. The fact that I kept that as a secret was crazy. I never said anything. Like I never. I think I only told Josh. But even then, Josh knew himself because he been in the map because you showed him. So like I knew what was going to happen. I didn't say anything because I felt like I didn't. It's not my business to tell. I mean, if you woke up one morning and said, "Oh yeah, Raider's going to end in December 2024 with a villain called Zero," like if that's what you wanted to do, then I'm
He
not going to stop you.
wasn't really a villain per se. He was more so the master of. It was more so the creator of the Master Rift, keeping the reality stable.
Well, he did a very good job at that, didn't he?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. um,
Um,
no, he did not do a good job.
um, but like, yeah, Icy Lands felt so out of place, and I know that probably most likely isn't your fault because Fortnite was a bit gay. But then again, like don't make it Christmas because it felt like it deserved. It felt like season 7 and season 6 should have been swapped around. If it went 0, then Ice Queen, it would have made way more sense if the
Yeah.
season swapped around.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I should have done that instead. And bringing the Ice Queen as the final main villain, I think that would have made perfect sense, and she would have actually destroyed reality with ice.
Yeah, and maybe she could have froze 0 for good,
Ye-
locked him away. You know how like the Ice King locked away the Fire King in chapter 1,
Yeah,
like something like
exactly.
that. So
Yeah.
like I feel like if those seasons were switched around, Radiator would have had like the reason why Radiator on my list is a 9 out of 10. Like the map questionable, prefab alert, but the lore, the gameplay, the loot pool, the everything, bro, chef's kiss.
I mean, the map is
Hey,
only like that because it's my first battle royale, so you have to do like a temple. I would prefabs for the first time. Like think about like how you
yeah,
could make
I'm
custom.
gonna do a big massive except here. The only reason why Radiator is a 9 out of 10, make that 9.3, is because of season 6, because it lasted too long and it felt out of place. But the reason why I like season 6, it gets like a 4 out of 10. The only reason why it gets 4 out of 10 is because of the gameplay and Rageful Assassin. They're the only two things carrying that season. Because the lore obviously is great. The lore will always be good in Radiator, and it probably even will be better in Thunderfall. And you could have a Chapter 2 Season 6 level Radiator season, which is basically Radiator Season 6. But the lore will be absolutely Avengers Endgame level lore. That it will make you like that season. Not love it, not think it's the best Radiator season, but you'll like it. You'll think it's fucking trash, but it was enjoyable. It's
Yeah, I mean,
best way to put it.
if you think about it with seasons 2 through 4, like season 2 was the start of storyline. I mean, I felt like I used the characters pretty well, and I kept the story consistent with the Strokes and Rachel's beef.
Yeah, I felt like the lore is always gonna be the best part about Radiator, and that's kind of like the charm of it. The
Yeah,
only thing lore wise that it was my problem. It's just the fact that after chapter 1 ended, it felt like there was more. Because there was more planned. You obviously had way more planned, but
Yeah.
obviously Clack and Corbin said, "No, fuck you. We're not making Radiator chapter 2 for you." You were like, "Ah, screw this. I'm just gonna make Thunderfall." I'm just saying it's never too late to make Thunderfall Radiator chapter 2. I'm putting that out there.
True, but I also wanted to
Maybe,
make something new, something fresh.
maybe you could do a Frostbyte where you could say that Rachel Assassin and a lot of the lore characters from Radiator, which technically there's only really one major lore character, and that's Rachel Assassin. You maybe say he comes over, he escapes. Let's say he grabs a battle bus and fucks off out of Radiator's dimension before it absolutely blows up. Like that whole dimension's gone now. That whole universe destroyed.
Yeah.
Then he jumped into Thunderfall's universe. And it may be like with all the new lore characters getting introduced there, you can bring in Rageful Assassin, who's obviously experienced, he knows what he's doing. So I think that would be like a good thing to do, just so that Radiator's story doesn't feel pointless and finished. It would
Yeah.
just feel more complete with him being around. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and play again. I'll be right back,
All right.
and I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about.
All right. Well, I'll ask it. I'm actually gonna ask my final question afterwards. So, all right, we're gonna wait for a little bit, and then I'll end off this podcast. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying the pre-stream because I know everyone hates me. No one will join. So, 404, bro. I mean, what did I say? No. All right. Let's just wait for a little bit until he comes back. So hopefully you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. I had a good time yesterday. Yesterday was my little sister's birthday. She turned 12. She had a great time. I'm glad she had a great time. She got Rainbow Charizard Pokemon card, so I'm a little jealous. She also got Mewtwo, which was the rarest one of all Pokemon cards, I believe. So after this, I'm just until he comes back. I'm gonna ask my final question, and I got something to do with my family. So, on Fortnite related stuff with my family. That's the reason why I have my PS5 on the.
I'm not a scumbag.
Okay, you can ask me that question now.
Okay, so this was actually going to be my final question. I'm going to end off this podcast. So, my final question: what did you think about the Radiator live events? Like, what did you think of all of them? The actual live events and the mini events. What did you think of all of them?
What I've always thought. And this is the only answer. Me personally, they were all good, every single one. But the season 2 like event just slapped it out of the park.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
technically,
Radiator Nightmares
Radiator was
2023 mini
like
event. That was great.
between me, you, Nexus, Josh, Alfie, and Revenge. Those like the 6 of us that did battle royals. You were the first one that like Josh Ward's events. They were good. They were mediocre sometimes, but they weren't like you did triggers. That made it feel more impactful. You made like a whole separate map for the event. You made like a wait time for the event. You made it feel like it was a big thing. And I
Yeah,
feel like for every Battle Royale map's first event, aside from Silver Island and Josh World, it's always going to be like Frostbite's first event. Watch that event. That's peak. That is the first live event for Frostbite, and that is peak. I feel like for Radiator, the first live event will always be the best one. Even though you could probably slap that, you could slap the season 2 event, which you probably already have. When you have, I'll admit that you have slapped the season 2 event out of the park. But for me, it's always going to be the first one. Like they were all good. Season 2 just knocks you out. Like just wow, that event was great. I was actually there with you playing the event,
yeah,
and I still think it amazed me. It changed my views on how to do live events. It took me like 2 years to actually change my views and start, you know, grabbing my phone device and moving the rocket around the map when it's in phase mode. You know, it took me a while to stop doing that, but eventually, you know, Frostbite came around. I was like, we follow Radiator, and I didn't make triggers, but I made them cinematic and more
yeah,
not pulling out my phone and flying a rocket around the map 500 times. You know.
yeah. um, But I thought the best live event I made was definitely Cold Conquest, which was the end for season 6 live event. I thought that was hit. I thought that was my favorite event that I've ever made. It was a great ending to season 6. I thought it was pretty good.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Cold Conquest was really good.
As I said, for me, bro, it's always gonna be season 2 because you knocked season 2. Like you knocked Radiator season 2 out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
Man, knocked that shit out of the park. And if you're gonna tell me that in this remake of season 2 in October, if I re-witness that original season 2 event, Radiator might be my new favorite battle royale map of all time. I'm just saying.
I could definitely
Pull
bring
off like a big bang event.
definitely do that.
Like pull off a big bang event, right? Where like maybe this live event, if you remix it, like it plays out pretty much the same. Maybe you could shorten it, or maybe you could make it a little bit longer. But towards the ending, you could set up Thunderfall for that event. You could set Thunderfall up.
I
Maybe
could
you could
definitely
say
do that. Yeah, I could.
maybe you could say that this Radiator reality shouldn't exist. Radiator at this point in time shouldn't exist at all. It's supposed to be gone. Good riddance. Goodbye. You've forgotten now. Kill yourself. You don't like. You should explain that like Radiator shouldn't exist anymore. That reality shouldn't exist. So the fact that there's a repeat like timeline of the island that got destroyed could maybe tie into the way Thunderfall does it. I don't know how you would do it, but I feel like that is like a little plot. Or like this relic timeline is replaying the events of the original timeline. Should somehow tie in with Thunderfall and how maybe Rachel Assassin finds this island, or maybe the Rachel Assassin of this remake manages, or the Midas of this remake manages to get the Thunderfall. Because technically, obviously not like actual gameplay. Maybe lore wise, you could just say that after when you make the season 2 event for the remake, the Radiator lore carries on like from chapter 1, remix it or something. Like, because it's you could call it a relic timeline because it is not exactly like it's. That's why I'm calling it a relic timeline, because it's not 100% replicating Radiator chapter 2 season 1, chapter 1 season 2. Sorry, it's repeating it, kind of like how Fortnite OG is doing it right now. It's
Yeah.
replaying events but doing a little bit of twist on things, which is what the Radiator remake is doing. So I feel like maybe like for the event you could do like the original season 2 event, bring the whole thing back, remake it from scratch like you did with the remake map, or just use the old map again or some shit. I don't know what you're gonna do, but like
Or I
use
can
the old
flat
event.
end up in the way that I wanted to, but you know, in the remake way.
Something like that. Yeah, that's all I have to say really about events.
Same. So I'm gonna end it off here. Shadowknight, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I had a great time with you
Yep.
talking about the future of our battle royales and many others.
Yeah, but guys, seriously, make sure to stay tuned for Frostbyte, because I'm telling you, I'm being dead serious. When the lore that I've written down for these next 2 seasons, they'll remind you heavily of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. These next 2 seasons are like big seasons. They're massive seasons.
I
Do
can
you want to know
tell.
what else is massive? Sorry, I just had to. But yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time. It was good talking to you about the future and past of our battle royales. And
Yep.
and I hope for the people that are going to join pre-stream, even though barely anyone joined, we only had one comment.
Yep.
Gosh, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So hit the like button, hit the sub button, hit the bell notification to never send a video. Go subscribe to Shadowknight's channel. I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the description, chat, whatever. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Yeah. Peace.
Listening, man, it's beautiful. Hang it up forever. But